I'm here at the Profiles World Conference in Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas, and I'm pleased to have with me John Bradford, who's the Senior Vice President Consulting and Coaching Services of Profiles International. And before Profiles, you were a independent consultant and a strategic business partner of Profiles, and now you work for the corporate office. And I just participated in 2 sessions that John was giving around some of the tools that Profiles has rolled out. And the tools evolved around that you were just speaking about was about leadership and team development. And these are 2 subjects that are very dear to me and something I focus a lot with my clients. So perhaps maybe we could start there and just talk about, how do you see in today's world, I mean, leadership has always been an important component of any organization's meeting their potential and driving results. How do you see it in today's world with so much change going on around us, both technology and I guess technology is what's driving a lot of change. How do you see the role of leaders and the importance of leadership in organizations today?
Well, I think that leadership is that ingredient that holds it all together, and in many companies it's almost taken for granted, which is a shame, because in all reality I've learned that leadership has to be nurtured, and that top leader has to really create that kind of environment that brings out the best in their folks. And what I've learned with leadership is that if you can help your leaders learn that when they focus their people, they're developing their people. And I can't take credit for that. I had the pleasure of meeting a person who was one of the professors out at West Point last year at a session I was in. And we were talking about leadership development. One of the things he said is the power of focus. And good leaders have a way of bringing focus to their leadership team. And they do that by helping those leaders understand what's most important and focusing those areas in, and also learning that within the team, the combined results that organization is trying to get is going to be arrived at through the efforts of the total team. And no one single person has all the resources or all the talents to do that. So a good leader who really brings together his team, gets that team aligned, get them to align to what results we're driving towards, but also how those results are going to be achieved. How are they going to achieve from a day in and day out? What are the critical competencies or behaviors that's most important? That's what really makes the difference when that happens. And so by doing that, then it allows them to be on the same page with each other. And it's a very powerful thing when 2 leaders are on the same page with each other.
So how would you define the key attributes of a leader that they would need to actually achieve what you just said?
In the end, if you really want teamwork and you really want leadership, I tell a leader, before you look at anything, look at the reward system. Because if in fact what you're rewarding is individual contribution, and all you want to have is a bunch of stars, and you're ready to give them the big bucks because they made the star, you may get some short-term gain, you may hit some really nice numbers, but you won't get the overall good of what can happen when you bring the group together and you focus that in all reality, in leadership today, leaders play dual roles. Leaders have to be able to come to the plate and get their hits. And in the world of business, you got to get the result. But also, you also have to be a good team member. You have to be a valuable team member that when others need your help, you're willing to pull back a little of your resources that you would apply to your goal to help that other team member achieve their goal, because in the end, it's the good of the company.
So it sounds like a good leader in today's world needs to balance both the business acumen part of it, or the goal achievement part, with the people skills part, and needs to get a good understanding of both himself and the people that he works with.
Most definitely. That leader, I've watched the military. Military leaders have learned to do transitioning incredibly well. They go in, they look at their mission, they look at their resources, they really figure out what their strengths are, what their vulnerabilities are, and they bring those people together and they create a plan. the secret's in what I just said. They bring those people together and create a plan. Good leaders, if they really want to get the maximum results from their organization, they need to do the same thing. They need to look at what the mission is. What's the results we're trying to get? What's the goals we're trying to achieve? What's the strengths? If I have 8 direct reports, each of these people have strengths. Each of them have areas that they're not so strong in. How do I bring a way to bring all that together to where we're playing to the good of to all of our strengths towards the common goal? And again, the military tends to do it best. Certain other organizations have done well with that. There's some companies that have done well, but when it's that way, it's usually an astute leader who really has either learned through pain or learned through just street smarts that he can only be as good as the people he surrounds himself with and how he brings the best out in them.
So let's bring it back to the profiles. We're here at the Profiles World Conference. How do you see the Profiles tools helping a leader better implement his leadership and, work with his people? How do you see it as a key component in today's world?
Well, leaders today need all the data, all the information they can get that can help them drive their business. And one of the things that we do incredibly well is equip a leader with a set of actionable data about an individual. We can help that leader understand these are the strengths that this person brings to the party. We can help confirm those strengths. We can also help that leader understand that people have learned to stretch, and in these areas, if this is part of their responsibility, they're going to be stretching, and people can only stretch so long. We also have the ability to take and provide the data to say, here's your group of 6 or 7 or 8, and let's look at the group as a whole and see what we've learned about them, to where as a leader how you bring the best out in those folks, but also how you play to those strengths to get the results that you want to get. This past month in December, there was an article in the Harvard Business Review on the concept is the power of familiarity, that the more familiar people are with each other, the more they understand their strengths, the more they understand the uniquenesses, and as teams stay together, how they tend to do better. When groups, leadership teams stay together, they begin to know how people are going to react in given situations, and then they know how to feed them the information to get the results they want. I think we have the tools that allows a leader in a very short amount of time to make a short investment of time in gathering some information to provide information that can help them better understand the people they're working with, provide that information to them to better understand their people, to bring out the best in that organization.
Great. Well, thank you very much, John. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, and I really enjoyed your seminar, and look forward to more further discussions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.